yeah, the bots. I mean, the robots. No, I'm just kidding. It's always this that comes into mind. But I mean, bots are definitely something that I think both have this. People feel they have a lot of assumptions around bots. I noticed that it's non-personalized. It's we've all maybe in our personal lives get stuck in this loop where there's no other real person on the side. And I must say that as things progress, I noticed that those are the ones that have the at this point already outdated bots that respond to things, and those who are a little bit more advanced and have used the technology and actually taught the technology and the algorithms further, they you can almost not tell a bot from a person. It is incredible what it can do and the automation of this process. So walk me through what you guys have done in this field.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I think you figured it out really, really good. But what we found out in discussions with our customers is that the appointment booking process for our customers is really a painful story. It's absolutely time consuming and work intensive. You need a lot of service agents. You need a lot of time to do not only the scheduling and also fixing the appointments with the customers. So what the service agent has to do, he has to call customers and he didn't reach the customer. Then he has to send emails, but he didn't get a response. And then this whole story begins again and again and again. And it's always the same problem. It is absolutely difficult to get the end customer on the one hand and the service agent together at the same time to fix an appointment. So what can we do? So our suggested solution is that we have to decouple these processes. We have to decouple the process of scheduling on the one hand and booking or fixing the appointment on the other hand. And what we think is that an appointment bot here can really help in combination with other things. But we know that we can save up to 80% of the time of the service agent if we combine these technologies like sending an email and then turn it over to an appointment bot to let the appointment bot do the booking with the customer so that the service agent has more time for his, let's say really important work to schedule good routes. And we have an example that Laureen will show us now how such an appointment bot could work. So Laureen, can you hand over the presentation? I will stop mine and you can hand over to show the real example.
Yeah, I think now you should see it, right? You should see my mail, Gmail client.
We do?
Okay, great.
Perfectly, thank you.
Yeah, so this is, now you have to think of me as basically being the end customer, right? From the perspective of the end customer. And basically what happened is the planner scheduled some service work to be done at my location. And now I get an email, right? And because what Michael said is the appointment has to be fixed, right? We have to make sure that the customer is actually fine with this date and time. So here you can see at 9:30, right? And now if everything's fine, the customer will just click confirm, the appointment gets fixed, everything's good. That's what we usually call the happy flow, right? Because everyone's happy. But the problems occur, of course, if the customer rejects, right? For whatever reason. I mean, we don't know the schedule of the customer, of course. Maybe he's just not available at this time. And so what the customer would then do is he hits reject. And what now happens is he basically gets redirected to our so-called appointment bot. And in this chat window, he can now reschedule basically this task that we want to do at his location. And you can see in the first message, we ask the customer basically for their general preferences in terms of weekdays and times. And so what I might say now as the customer, okay, hey, I'm free on Mondays and Tuesdays from 10 to 12. So this is just a bit more like general, right? It's not a specific date because the chances that it's an exact match are not that high. So we just say, okay, hey, these are my general preferences. And what happened in the background now is we have what you might call an agent, and we give this agent some tools. It can interact with the OMD API, and we just say, hey, you have to achieve the following goals, basically, and these are some of the conditions you should pay attention to. And then there's basically a really smart so-called large language model in the background that just magically does its thing and figures things out. And in this case, I, as the customer, said, hey, these are basically my preferences, right? And then the model went to the OMD API. It got some options for possible appointments. And now it basically synthesizes the response from the API into a more basically readable format from the customer. So now I get these options, right? And I could, for example, now say option 1 sounds fine, right? So hit send now, and what we should see is, so basically now again it's processing this response from the customer and says, hey, great, I've rescheduled your appointment. So it can actually be that easy. But of course, this is basically a really linear flow, and so far you could say, okay, that's quite easy. But one thing that of course may occur at maybe let's say a day later is the customer realizes, oh, I actually don't have time at this date here. Something got in the way, I don't know, whatever. I actually want to, and the good thing is the customer now can go back to this chat and he says, oh shoot, I forgot that I have something else that day. Can you also do it on that Wednesday, or let's say on a Wednesday, right? And this, of course, it shouldn't work maybe like 10 minutes before the appointment. There's of course going to be some threshold. Maybe you can say, okay, up to 3 days before the appointment, you can actually still reschedule, but everything before those 3 days, you can reschedule things. You are really flexible in that sense, right? So now this is almost the same scenario as above. Again, it sees that, okay, I need to request options again, and it goes ahead, gets the options, presents them to the customer. And now another interesting thing is, and this is again an advantage that we're seeing now with these large models, is that they come pre-equipped basically with a lot of knowledge about the world. And also another nice thing, which is that they're inherently multilingual. So actually now my French is not the best, but I can say, ah, très bien, I would like option number 1. And so let's see what happens now. Basically, again, it's processing the request, and now it responds in French. And again, we could look now in OMD, basically the appointment is rescheduled. And another thing that you have to deal with, of course, is because you can enter whatever message you want in here. And of course, these messages should only be about rescheduling appointments, but we can never be sure. So one thing, for example, we could ask now, I don't know, in Spanish, because I mean, why not? Who is Donald Trump, right? And so what we have also said to the model is that, hey, if there's any question or any message not related to rescheduling an appointment, please abort the conversation, because it's important. We don't want users to do whatever they want in that chat. We want to really put some boundaries on what they can do, and you can see, okay, I can't assist you with that. And it basically blocks the chat for an amount of time, right? So the user cannot send any more messages for some time. Yeah, I think so. We've seen now you have a lot of flexibility. It's pretty easy to reschedule the appointment, and I think I'll give it back to Michael.